The Assyrian culture was brutal, consisting of torturing, beheading and flaying those they conquered and displaying their fate in public. Their art showed the king hunting a multitude of lions, some of them shown in agony. A civilization that was led by aggressive warrior kings and dominated the Fertile Crescent for half of a millennia. It dominated all of the Near East for the first half of the first millennium BC. Its society was entirely military orientated, men forced to fight in the army at a moment's notice. The Assyrian king hunted lions, and it was a common theme in their art. Lions were native to Mesopotamia at the time. They were shown hunting in an arena that was composed of a wall of soldiers with spears, and in front of those soldiers were more soldiers with mastiffs. The lions here are shown in a gruesome fashion, many of them in agony. This one's crawling with its front paws, and its lower half is paralyzed. Others are vomiting blood with spears sticking out of them. Lions were seen as forces of chaos, and only the king could hunt them. These images represent the king conquering the forces of nature. Here at the siege of Lachish, the Syrians are shown besieging a city. They also show the aftermath, since this is a continuous narrative, so chronology doesn't matter. The aftermath consists of them impaling the defeated. The whole city would be impaled, then put on display around the city. This was done as a psychological attack for future cities that were to be besieged, giving the choice of either surrendering or facing the same fate as those who resisted. Here we have the king Ashurbanipal. He is shown feasting with his queen, though something is off with the image. On the tree is the head of the defeated king of the Elamites. The fate of the king who resisted is now serving as a sort of decoration in the Assyrian king's garden. These sorts of decorations were ubiquitous, common, even in places such as palaces. The display of death and destruction shows how integrated this was in their culture. The king was viewed as divine, and this notion is reinforced by the divine figure behind him, that's carrying a bucket of water, where it would dip the pine cones in the water. The pine cones' many surfaces would retain the water before being sprinkled on the king to show his divine nature. He is blessed by the gods. Their national deity is Ashur and is represented by a man emerging out of a solar disk. A metal working is underneath that forms a tree. This is a representation of Ishtar, goddess of fertility. So we have both the male and female aspect of the divine. Lamassus were iconic images of Assyrian art. They were winged bulls with human heads, serving as guardian figures such as in front of the palace. The Assyrians will eventually get defeated in turn by the Neo-Babylonians around 609 BC.